Nathan's combat class with Jason had turned dangerous. Nathan never backed out of a fight, but today was personal.
One day, I'll make your father my slave and piss on him.
And that was when Nathan lost his cool. Little did Nathan know, it was a fatal mistake.
Headmaster, stop the duel! Nathan, yield, please! I yield.
Not enough for me.
As Deputy Officer Kane rode through the night on the long journey back to Godricson, a different rider approached the outside gates of House Raven's compound. This rider was short, with light brown hair, and clad dark red silk with a velvet cape. Flanking each side of him was a tall, armored bodyguard, bearing the lion crest of the Duke's family, House Godricson. A servant of House Raven approached and bowed as he opened the front gate immediately.
"Rodric, sir, please come inside. The High Lord Raven has been expecting you."
Without so much as looking at the servant, Rodric Godricson, the Duke's teenage grandson, dismounted from his horse with the help of his bodyguards. Without any hesitation or acknowledgement of the servant, Rodric strode through the front gates and took the lead as he found his way deep into the compound. Finally, he arrived at Remus Raven's private quarters, where the High Lord Raven had set out a private feast for the young noble. "Ah, young Rodric, so good of you to grace us with your presence. How's your grandfather?" Rodric sighed as he sat down across from Remus and threw his feet up on the table. His two bodyguards immediately took positions by the door and calmly watched over the conversation with observant eyes. It was clear that these bodyguards were also Duke Godricson's eyes and ears within the room.
Boring. Same as usual. Meetings, talks, and other rubbish. I'd much rather ride through the streets of the city. Perhaps luck out and kill a thief or murderer or something more interesting."
"Oh, has the young master found a criminal to punish then?"
"No, unfortunately. I've seen no crime tonight. I broke a man's drums for disturbing the peace, though. You should have seen his face. I just don't get why the common folk would sit around and squalor in that filth every day."
The High Lord Raven nodded his head as a bruised servant meekly brought them a flagon of wine. "They're born into it, I suppose. But perhaps that's why your grace has the station that he holds now, because he's above all the dirt of the commoners."
Bam!
The bruised servant nearly spilled the flagon as Rodric kicked the table with his feet. Rodric cackled at the servant's fearful reactions. Remus frowned and motioned for the servant to exit the room. "Leave us, and take my guards outside with you. I wish to speak to my good friend in private." The servant quickly left the room and shut the door behind her. Rodric took a sip of wine and shook his head as he began to eat. "So, what's all this I hear about House Raven being challenged, eh? What's going on with that?" As Rodric ate, he couldn't help but play with a series of expensive statues that lined the dining area of the room. Food grease coated the statue, and one of them almost fell over as Remus suppressed his irritation with the spoiled boy. "Good Master Rodric, your knowledge knows no bounds. Indeed, my house was challenged by the foolishly weak House Hayfield. However, I suspect that their brazenness is partly due to their close ties to High House Lighstone. Perhaps you've heard of this before?" Rodric looked up from one of the statues he held in his hand. He set it down, but not before wiping pheasant grease onto it. "Oh, really now? I haven't heard such a thing from anywhere in my grandfather's keep. But even so, what's the trouble? They can't really help the Hayfields during a challenge anyways." "So there are no ramblings of this in Duke Godricson's private quarters? No talk of him speaking the words of Hayfield in the same breath as the Lightstones?" "No, not at all. I doubt the Duke is concerned with any of this at all, really. Remus let out a sigh of relief. Ever since Lord Byron had left for his lands to find a new bride and sire more offspring, Remus had felt alone in his struggle against the Hayfields. The fact that House Lighstone was not a true backer of his enemies was a comforting thought. Now that there was no obvious alliance between the Hayfields and the Lightstones, Remus sought to make such a thing impossible. "That's good to know. I would have thought that the Duke would be extremely concerned with the Lightstones at the moment, considering what's been going on." Rodric frowned as he stopped mid-bite, set down a turkey leg. "What do you mean? What's been going on?" "Oh, nothing, young master. I simply thought that House Godricson would already know of the current situation regarding Sir Ian Lighstone and Lady Amelia Hayfield." Rodric set down the turkey leg as his face grew red. "What? Sir Ian and Ulrich Hayfield's daughter? Speak more of this at once." "I've only heard rumors, but it seems they've been seen sneaking off together. Mostly it appears that they walk the gardens together at night, whispering sweet nothings in each other's ears, I imagine." Crack! Rodric threw a statue bust onto the ground with fury. Immediately, shards exploded out in 100 different directions. "Blasphemous! I don't believe it!" Rodric snarled at the thought of all this. Normally, he wouldn't think twice about a noble house as insignificant as the Hayfields. But if Ulrich Hayfield's daughter sought to court Sir Ian, that was a piece of gossip that Rodric couldn't ignore. "I'm sorry, young master, but those are in fact things that I have heard. They've even been seen together holding hands in the Central Market, and some have dared to claim to have even heard them spill their feelings towards each other in public. But I digress. This is all shameless hearsay, after all." The corner of High Lord Raven's mouth began to form a smile. Rodric was reacting just as he had wished him to. For although Rodric came from the Duke's own family, and was thus a nobler blood than Remus, he was still a brash young man that could be easily manipulated. "It may be hearsay, but if you've heard all this, there must be a grain of truth to it. Sir Ian Lightstone, huh? What a pervert. To think my aunt's fiancé would stab her in the back like that, after all the favor that the Duke has given House Lightstone, all just so he could run around on her with some floozy from a fallen house." "It is an unfortunate reality, Your Grace. Some men, it seems, cannot think with their brains as well as they ought to." "I mean, what lunacy is this? Not even the Princess of Calandria herself could compete with my aunt's looks, and Sir Ian dares to publicly tarnish her reputation? I'd rather die than let that stand." Remus smiled as he spoke hollow words to fan the flames in Rodric's heart. "Oh, I'm sure Sir Ian meant no disrespect to Your Grace." "No disrespect? Does he really take me for a fool? You know, I meant to teach that bastard a lesson about respect a long time ago. But back then my aunt stayed my sword because of her sweet feelings towards him. Perhaps I'll get a chance to duel him yet." Rodric stood and paced around the room in troubled thought, occasionally sipping from the flagon of wine. The High Lord Raven turned in his chair to face the amped-up teenager. "Even so, Your Grace, it might be wise to wait until you know the truth behind these allegations. Perhaps you might consider confronting him yourself in public?" Rodric stopped pacing and smiled sinisterly. "Remus, you're a genius. The High Lord Lightstone's ceremony for his daughter Donna is tonight. I can go at once and demand he tell me his intentions with this Hayfield girl, and what the truth of all this is. And if he dares to disappoint my aunt, I'll be sure to bring the full wrath of House Godricson down upon them all." Crack! Rodric punched another statue, shattering it to pieces as Remus simply smiled. An excellent idea, Your Grace. I bid you good luck with your interrogation.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.